Well, I never used drugs, but I distracted myself through work. But I've been a real addict that way, and I would ignore my own children because of my obsession with work. So I know what that escape from the self is like. And my definition of addiction is any behavior that gives you temporary relief, but in the long term causes harm, and you can't give it up despite those negative consequences. The Buddhists have this idea of the hungry ghosts. The hungry ghosts are creatures with large empty bellies and small scrawny necks and tiny little mouths, so they can never get enough. They can never fill this emptiness on the inside. And we all hungry ghosts in this society. We all have this emptiness. Yes, there's the addiction to drugs, but there's also the addiction to sex, to the internet, to shopping, to food. Now, if you look at the drugs like heroin, like morphine, like codeine, if you look at cocaine, if you look at alcohol, these are all painkillers. And that's what the real question in addiction is, not why the addiction, but why the pain. And in the case of my patients, my highly addicted patients, it's very clear why they're in pain. All the women I worked with over a 12-year period, they had all been sexually abused as children. And the men had been sexually abused, physically abused, abandoned, and emotionally hurt over and over again. When an addict shoots crystal meth or almost any drug, they get a hit of dopamine in their brain. Dopamine flows whenever we're motivated, excited, vital, vibrant, curious about something. And of course, the heroin and the morphine, what they do is they act on the endorphin system. Endorphins, they make possible the experience of love. The question is, what happens to people that they need these chemicals from the outside? Well, what happens to them is when they're abused as children, those circuits don't develop. And their brains then are susceptible when they do the drugs. Now they feel normal, now they feel pain relief, now they feel love. Because it's a myth that drugs are addictive. Drugs are not by themselves addictive, because most people who try most drugs never become addicted. Just like food is not addictive, but to some people it is. Shopping is not addictive, but to some people it is. Now, what happened to me is that I was born in Budapest, Hungary in 1944 to Jewish parents. Now why? What do babies know about Hitler or genocide or war? Nothing. What we're picking up on is the stresses and the terrors and the depression of our mothers. What happens then is I get the message that the world doesn't want me, because if my mother's not happy around me, she must not want me. Why do I become a workaholic later? Because if they don't want me, at least they're going to need me. Now I'll be an important doctor, and they're going to need me. And that way I can make up for the feeling of not being wanted in the first place. And what does that mean? It means that I'm working all the time. What message do my kids get? My kids get the same message, that they're not wanted. So obviously, there are many, many ways to fill this emptiness. But the emptiness always goes back to what we didn't get when we were very small. And we say to the drug addict, how can you possibly do this to yourself? How can you possibly inject this terrible substance into your body that may kill you? Because we actually see that they're just like us, and we don't like that. So we say, you're different from us. You're worse than we are. Thank you. Thank you.